Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 12th part of What If Deku Was Sanji's Reincarnation, My Heroes Reborn. The author of this great fanfic is Emma. I believe links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 12, Izuku vs Shinso and Toru vs Iida. The two competitors took the stage, a newly built stage. When one of the teachers could manipulate concrete, it made sense. The rules of the match were quite simple. The way to win was either make their opponent give up, push them out of limits, or incapacitate them, but of course killing was against the rules, and if it looked like the person was going to be killed, Cementos would put a stop to it. And of course the two precipitants were let into the battlefield. Izuku was still a little nervous, but it was hard not to be, after what was told about him. But he didn't let it show. "You know, this is a test to see how strong your spirit is," said Shinso. Izuku gritted his teeth. He couldn't say anything. "And begin," yelled out present Mike. "You know he was an idiom," said Shinso, throwing his chance because he thought it was the right thing to do. Izuku could feel both personalities within him snapping. "Don't you say that about Mashireo," yelled Izuku. That was when he froze. "It's all over," said Shinso. During the match, Class 1A got its own box. And inside the box, everyone who weren't prepping for their match, i.e., Todoroki and Siro, were watching. The therapy group and Iida were sitting together. "I told him not to say anything," yelled Mashireo. "What's going on?" asked Achiko. "It's Guy's quirk," explained Mashireo. "He can brainwash people." "What?" skid Momo. "Is that the reason you can't remember the second round?" asked Toru. Masher nodded. "Oh, that's why I forgot to do this," said Toru. He saw the cupcake plate appeared on his lap. "Thanks," he said. "Where did these cupcakes come from?" They heard Shota yell in the next over. "If he asks you a question and you answer it, he can take control of your mind," said Mashireo. "You don't think he's going to lose?" asked Achiko. "There is a chance he might win, but I don't know if it will happen," sighed Mashireo. "Wait, didn't you say that you remember the last part?" asked Toru. "I did," said Mashireo. "When he stole of Tetsu's headbands, I bumped into one of them and it was just like I woke up. I told Izuku this. But there's nothing there to get him out of it," said Achiko. On the field, Shinso said to Izuku, "Now, go out of bounds like a good little hero." Izuku turned around and began to walk out of bounds. Everyone could just watch in shock. While not everyone Aizawa was taking note of Shinso and his abilities. However, Izuku was panicking on the inside. "I can't move my body. My mind feels like it's filled with fuzz. I was stupid. I just had to keep my mouth shut," thought Izuku. "I have to win for everyone. But, I can't stop it. I have to stop it." As he drew closer to the edge, he saw one of the entrances to the stadium, and inside were several shadows in the tunnel. Light came from them. However, a man with blonde hair appeared from right in front of the tunnel. "Stop it. He's got it," said the man, lighting a cigarette. "I know he does." Suddenly something erupted, a strange wave, and briefly turned the air blue. Shinso fell to the ground, but he was conscious. Midnight and Cementos didn't fall, but they were breathing heavily. All Might, who was watching from the tunnel, felt the wave as well, but didn't seem affected. Izuku also managed to stop just in time. However, he was breathing heavily and panicking somewhat. Why? Because of the ability he just used. How was I able to use it? I shouldn't have been able to use it, he thought. However, he quickly realized he was still in the match. "Hey! What did you just do?" asked Shinso as he managed to get up. Izuku didn't answer and physically covered his mouth. Shinso kept trying to goad him, however it was clear that Izuku wasn't answering back. That monkey must have told him about it. thought Shinso. Izuku ran over and began to push him out. Seriously. I don't know what your quirk is, but you've been blessed. I saw what you did to that robot. Not everyone can have a heroic quirk like yours. Yelled Shinso, still trying to bait him. But Izuku refused to answer. He knew he was blessed, but it wasn't his quirk. He knew he had the people who loved him who were by his side. Though it was clear that Shinso wasn't going to go down without a fight, punching Izuku in the face so hard his nose was bleeding. However, he kept going, even kicking back at points, but in the end he managed to flip Shinso out of the arena. Hitoshi Shinso is out of bounds. Izuku Midoriya is going to the next stage. Called out Midnight. Izuku breathed a sigh of relief as the crowd cheered. The Totu bowed to each other and Izuku sighed. There's nothing I can say to him, he thought as Shinso walked away. As Shinso walked away, he heard other students from general studies cheering for him. Not only that, but there were all sorts of heroes praising him for his quirk and how it could be used for so much good. You really do want to be a hero, don't you? Asked Izuku. Shinso froze when he said that. Trust me, I know what it's like, no one believing in you, said Izuku as he approached him. Far more than anyone else, I'm only this strong because of other people. You know, depending on the results, there is a chance I can get into the hero course, said Shinso. I know, said Izuku. Then Izuku froze. Seriously? Asked Shinso. Thankfully, Shinso let go of the brainwashing. Izuku breathed a sigh of relief. You know, you have to be on guard sometimes, said Shinso. Izuku laughed nervously when he said that. Don't lose again, or else I'll bad, said Shinso. Don't worry, I won't, said Izuku. Then he got hit by the work once again. Shinso wasn't sure how to respond. In the teacher's box, Hibiki breathed a sigh of relief. I hope Izuku gets far, said Aiko, the fact that he clearly said kind word right then. There's so much potential for memes thanks to his status as a cinnamon roll. Are you seriously making a lot of memes out of this? Asked Snipe. Sorry for not really caring about sports. I mean, it's not like I have a body or anything, said Aiko. Hibiki just sighed. So when you're next student? Asked 13. Not for another couple of matches, not sure if she'll win, said Hibiki. It's good that 4 of them moved on, said 13. Hibiki nodded. You were there that day, said Hibiki. 13 nodded. They're doing better than a lot of the adult heroes, to be honest, said Hibiki. That's good, said 13. Meanwhile, in the nurse's office, Izuku was getting the injuries he got the fight, though extremely minor, healed up. At least not broken bones this time, said the school nurse recovery girl. Izuku laughed nervously. I heard what he said during the match. It must have been hard, knowing that you felt much in common with him, said All Might. Yeah, sighed Izuku. All Might, I have a weird question. What is it? Asked All Might. Is it possible for one for all to replicate another power? Asked Izuku. What do you mean? Asked All Might. Before I unleashed that wave, I had a vision of people in shadows. One of them had your eyes, said Izuku. It was just like spirit or something. What, seriously? That is way creepy, said All Might, shivering at the thought. Seriously, All Might, said Izuku. He then took a breath, but that's not all. Suddenly Sanji appeared. Wait, isn't that, said All Might, the name of my past life? Yeah, said Izuku. He said something I don't quite remember, then I unleashed that wave. Do you have any idea what you did? Asked All Might. I have a theory, but it doesn't make any sense, said Izuku. There's 3 types of hockey. Hockey? Asked Recovery Girl. Izuku trend his leg black. This is one form. Armament, Said Izuku. Then there's observation, it allows me to see auras and predict movements. Okay. Said All Might. But the third kind is conquerors. The things about it is that it can't be learned, you have to be born with it, and I wasn't born with it. Said Izuku, who then began to panic. So you think it's possible that one for all replicated it, or? I can't have it. I mean, I wasn't born with, only 1 in a million people are born with it. I can't say for sure. Said All Might, but I will admit that I have seen spritz like that before. It probably means that you're closer to making one for all your own. Izuku blushed when he said that. You know. Said Recovery Girl, you should probably go see who your next opponent will be. She said. Oh right. Said Izuku. He sped out of the room. He soon made it to the student box to watch the match. Hey, Deku. We saved a seat for you. Called out Achiko. Izuku smiled and took his seat, giving Mashireo a fist bump once he sat down. So nervous about the match? Asked Toru. Izuku didn't answer, but it was clear he was a bit nervous. Bakugo just glared at Izuku. And soon enough the match started. To say it was one-sided would be an extreme understatement. Zero did try to send Todoroki out of bounds, but it didn't work, as Todoroki just froze Zero like it was nothing, and froze half of Midnight, and a good chunk of the stadium. The crowd was shouting nice try. For Zero. In the teacher's box. Please try to limit yourself. Sighed Hibiki. Please, this would be like shooting fish in a barrel, I'm just doing 3. Said Aiko. Why did you program her to make memes? Asked Snipe. I didn't. Said Hibiki. It's something I started doing on slow days, you know, when you're an AI it gets pretty boring. Said Aiko, but connected to the internet you need a creative outlet. It was either that or fanfics. I think I chose the right one. It took a while for the ice to be cleared, but it's soon for the next match. Kaminari and Ibara. There were some amusing moments where Ibara was cornered with her entrance being called an assassin when it turned out she was a pious Christian. And after that match began. It was one-sided with Kaminari getting easily caught by her vines. That was when Monoma looked over the wall of the boxes. Hey, what you were saying about Class 1A? Asked Monoma. Well, as you can see, you was nothing, and then someone chopped the back his neck, knocking him out. I really hate that guy. Fought just about everyone in the box. Sorry about that. Said the orange-haired girl, her name was Itsuka Kendo. However, Izuku was paying attention to that but rather taking notes about her quirk and muttering the whole time, making everyone in the box feel uncomfortable. Izuku. Said Momo. Oh, was I muttering? Asked Izuku. Sorry, I tend to mutter when I take notes. I also get really excited when I see a new quirk. It's fine. Said Achiko. Wow, your notes are really detailed. Said Mashireo. Yeah, I even got notes about everyone in class. Said Izuku. He showed off the notes for Achiko to her. Oh, wow. Said Achiko with a sweat drop. I know it's weird. Said Izuku. It's fine. Said Achiko, it just show how amazing you are. Achiko sighed and looked at the match. It Taurus match next. Remained Mashireo. Oh right. Said Izuku. After they got Kaminari out of there, it was time for Toru and Iida. The two competitors got on stage. Right, the match started. Iida once again felt the glare that he's been feeling. He looked all around for it. But he just couldn't find. What are you looking for? Asked Toru. Ever since the second event I've been feeling someone glaring at me. Am I going insane? He asked. Then he turned to Toru. He saw how her arms were folded across her chest, tapping her foot. That was when he realized it. She has been the one glaring at him. And begin. Called out present Mike. Why have been glaring at me? He asked. Because you've been being a bad friend to Izuku, said Toru. What? Asked Iida confused. I said you've been being a bad friend to Izuku, said Toru. Iida stared at the invisible girl. What do you mean? Asked Iida. He needed his friends during that time, said Toru, moving her arm towards him, probably T-point to point at him, but during that time you only thought of yourself and only yourself. Iida froze when she said, you know, if you had gotten first place he would have helped you, even if it would have been a bad idea, said Toru. Everyone in the stadium stared at the fight. Almost no one knew what was going on, except for those in the therapy group. Seriously? Asked Hibiki. This is kind of hilarious, said Aiko. In the Class 1A box, all 4 members of the therapy group just stared with dot eyes. You don't think? Said Achiko. She's giving him a lecture, said Mashireo. Oh, being a bad friend, sighed Momo. Oh, Toru, sighed Izuku, face palming. Wait, why would she give him a lecture on being a bad friend? Said Tsuyu. That was when a piece of paper appeared in Momo's hand. She jumped. Achiko picked up as Momo dropped it. You can tell them about the magic of friendship, Toru. Read Achiko with a sweat drop. The 4 members of the therapy group all sweat dropped. The magic of friendship? Asked Kirishima with a sweat drop. Well, she did give us permission, said Mashireo. Yeah, said Achiko. Back on the battlefield, Toru still scolded/lectured. You know he would help no matter what. And just the fact that he beat you shouldn't make you too upset. I know you're a speedster, but didn't Priestess say his legs were not the world's strongest weapon? I under Todoroki or even that jerk beating you, and that girl with the vines, but still. You've been being a bad friend. Wait, why are you even lecturing me on this? Asked Iida, relaxing something. In my past life Equestria ran on friendship, said Toru. What? Asked Iida. It's true, the bonds made between friends were very powerful, and at least for me and my friends it was a very powerful bond by destiny. I'm not kidding about that. My friend Rainbow Dash did something we're all fools and it turned out it gave all of us all bond, said Toru. I know this wasn't like the first match, but shouldn't you be fighting? Asked Present Mike. Oh right. I guess we should start fighting, almost forgot that, said Toru. That was when she took out a arty cannon. That was when it shot out a small cannonball that exploded into confetti when it is Iida, sending him reeling after being hit. Sorry, but I had to make the ammo stronger than usual, said Toru, because I'm sure you wouldn't get hurt by the usual confetti blasts. I would like to remind everyone that we have no idea where's getting her weapons from, sighed Aizawa. I don't want to know what's been going on in your classroom for the past couple weeks, do I? Asked Present Mike. No, you don't, sighed Aizawa. That was when Toru took out more party cannons. All right. More, she shouted. But thankfully this time Iida dodged the cannonballs, which all exploded in confetti when they landed. However, the confetti still create a sort of smoke bomb for her to reload all of them. All this confetti, thought Iida. I have to figure out a way to beat her. I will win this, yelled Toru, standing on top of 2 of the cannons. That was when they misfired, sending her flying. Seriously, yelled Iida. She wasn't able to recover from being sent flying in mid-air and landed out of bounds, causing both Iida and Midnight to gape. Toru Hagakure is out of bounds. Tenya Iida is going on to the next round, called out Midnight. Meanwhile, most of the Class 1A box were just sitting in silence due to the combination of learning about how the magical pony world practically ran on friendship and how the fight ended. Okay, seriously, said Kyoka, being the first one to say something. A magical pony world that ran on friendship is pretty weird, said Tsuyu. It's not weird, said Mashareo. Yeah, he's right, sounds pretty normal for me, said Izuku with a shrug. Okay, if you're just shrugging it off, I hate to see what your worlds are like, said Kirishima with a sweat drop. Oh yeah, Momo, you're the next one, right? Asked Mashareo. Oh right, said Momo. She and Tokoyami began to leave. Good luck you too, called Ochako. Both of them left. So about the next match, said Mashareo. Well, said Izuku, who began to mumble as he went over his notes, causing everyone to sweat drop. This is going to be a thing for the rest of the tournament? Isn't it? Asked Tsuyu. Yeah, said Mashareo. Probably, sighed Ochako. And with the first half of the first round of the final events ended, which is a rather convoluted way it put, but still. And only time will tell how the rest of the matches go. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 13. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.